So earlier I was talking about a really vile email I got from someone who was really annoyed at the fact that I talked about intuitive readers, and this person felt like I was just intellectualizing tarot too much. Lots of expletives, and also, even though it went to my work email, this person shared their profile and spent a lot of time justifying it. Look what I've been able to do, and look at this, look at that. It was vile. It was vile. And this comment is, I wonder if your knowledge has made them feel insecure in their own abilities. Otherwise, why would you be offended by a non-rival skill? If they have a happy client base, why would your way offend? So there's lots of things. And I thought about whether or not to reply to this because I didn't want to come off arrogant or come off in the wrong way, because I think there is a multitude of things here. So I think those who get ferociously defensive, I often wonder if I've kind of poked at their inner chaos. If someone gets so aggrieved by something, I wonder sometimes if there's an element of truth in that. I've had it previously, and people have kind of went for comments, or my students or people who like the way in which I explain tarot have kind of like went to my rescue in the comments. So it's rare now, and it seems to be people come via email. But I think I was 13 when I was taught how to read tarot, and it was my neighbour Nancy at number 13 who taught me how to read tarot. And in those days, when we're talking 30 years later, there wasn't the amount of resource now, so I had to take her word for it, and I had to take on a lot of her guidance and her thoughts and perceptions of what the cards meant. And I carried that for a long time until I wanted to know more, because if someone tells me something's the case, I need you to tell me why. So it never quite sat right with me. But I do think for some people, they see it as such a deeply spiritual practice, perhaps talking about downloads or intuition being so important to them because they've connected to it, or maybe believe that that's how it should be. Some people like the smoke and mirrors and having the sage burning in the background and having the silk tablecloth and what, and that's fine. So I think for some it's just all they know, and that's how they practice it. And I do think some people just like to say they're intuitive readers because then they can't be called out. And I think there's a lot of things in between with that. So the way in which I understand tarot is because I've looked at every facet of stuff. But it isn't something that I've just made up. It's all out there. The problem is with tarot, it's really hard collecting all the information in order to kind of put it in some logical format. So I think there is an element of people feeling perhaps inferior, and this is why I was worried about how I'm going to come across in this, especially if I'm saying, well, this is how you read this, and what about the elemental dignities, and what about this, and what about that? And when people don't know it, because a lot of people don't know this stuff, I think it causes a little bit of friction there. So I do think it's a few things here. But yeah, this person was so mad at me, so mad. And he made an assumption that all I do with tarot is do it from a logical, process-driven practice, when actually it is deeply intuitive what I do. I just know the facets, and I then incorporate my intuition with that, so they blend beautifully. But yeah, I'm going to keep that email. That was one heck of an email, and an awful lot of swearing. And I did go and check out their profile, and they do have a large following, and they get a lot of positive feedback. So why do I matter? Who knows? Only that person can truly know. Is it a case that they don't really know what they're doing? Is it a case that it's been it's in their blood that it should be done a certain way? Or is there an element of insecurity about the knowledge that I have around tarot, and perhaps they don't? I don't know. I really don't know with this one. Good comment though. Good comment.